It's one of the most common rhetorical devices used today and an effective way of engaging with your audience in speech or text. So what am I talking about? Well, today we're going to look at the rhetorical question. While most people are familiar with the term rhetorical question, most might not know that there are in fact several types. Let's take a look at 4 of them. The first and most basic form is the erotema, or erotesis. Take, for example, who doesn't like sunny weather? Here you ask a question without expecting an answer. The reason is that the answer or conclusion is implied or obvious. To paraphrase the late David Williams, it's a type of address calculated to demonstrate the truth on the matter and make it seem impossible to contradict. The second type of rhetorical question is where the speaker asks a question and immediately answers it. This type of question is called hypophora. The reply to the question is called anthropophora.
Could there be something other than opportunism that explains a failure when a task is being delegated, such as mistakes, habits, incorrect information, false assumptions? For example, in complex product development projects, not knowing all the things and uncertainties that would impact the best choice in materials and technology. This is the focus of my recently started Academy of Finland research project, that there are alternatives to these failures rather than simply the agent acting opportunistically.
What would it be like to hitchhike into co-housing? So if you think about it, hitchhiking involves someone with a need, someone with a resource, and an infrastructure between those two.
The third type of rhetorical question is Ocoee Gnosis, which comes from the Greek meaning to communicate. The speaker asks the opinion of the audience. It often assumes a common interest with the speaker.
Who knows Steve Mann? Heard about the guy? My students know, which is a good thing. He's the first guy who came up with the wearable computing or wearable computers all in all. I have a picture of him here.
Not so long ago, it would not have been safe to assume that each and every one of you here in this room would have a camera in your pocket, as I now think you do. Is there anyone here who does not have a phone with a camera? I can't see anyone raise their hand, so I suppose not.
The fourth is Kuzma. This is when the speaker poses a series of questions. The reply to this often requires a complex answer. This is useful when you want to introduce a complex topic and want to emphasize that it needs some explanation.
What is form? What is the origin of form? That simple question I'm asking myself for many years now. And how do we invent form? How do we begin? How do we think of generating a product, a building, a city, a piece of clothing?
Individuals are individuals. They are not only resources, human resources. So how do organizations manage people, and how does that relate to well-being? How does that relate to stress? How does that relate to the likelihood of people surviving for more than X number of years? A number of sort of dependent variables that are highly relevant for the individuals working in organizations we can also ask within this kind of research stream.